Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. Returning listeners, great to have you back. New to the channel, really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. So we're going to cover a topic today that I think it's important to talk about every once in a while. We've talked about it before. We'll talk about it again in the future, but it's so important that all of us need a reminder every once in a while that this is how the world works. So let's just jump into it here and hit you with the hard truth. It's a truth that most people don't want to hear, but the truth is no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to make your situation better. Not the government, not your boss, not your parents, not the system, not some future version of yourself with more motivation. That's not happening. And the thing is, that shouldn't depress you or scare you. It should make you feel free and liberated. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone else to come rescue you is the moment you reclaim control over your life. And today, we're going to talk about radical self-reliance. What does that actually mean? Why waiting keeps people stuck, and how ownership, radical ownership, is the fastest path to confidence, resilience, and purpose. So let's just jump into it right from there. The illusion of rescue is something we need to stop believing in. We are surrounded by subtle messages that say, someone else should fix this. You deserve support before responsibility. It's not your fault. Wait for better conditions. Psychologists call this external understanding of control. The belief that your outcomes are primarily driven by forces outside of yourself. Research consistently shows that people with this mindset experience higher anxiety, they display lower resilience, and they are more prone to learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is where you throw your hands up in the air and say, I can't do this, even if it's something that is easily attainable or accomplishable by you. Learned helplessness. We see this from people all the time because there's a little bit of resistance or a little bit of difficulty, they quit and give up. That's called learned helplessness. In contrast, people with a strong internal locus of control, self-reliance, self-responsibility, recover faster from setbacks, they perform better under stress, and they report a higher satisfaction in overall life. Why is this? Because when you believe someone is coming to help you, you delay action. And delay compounds, just like interest. Delay creates anxiety, delay creates doubt, delay creates depression, and that compounds over time the longer you let it go. Just like compound interest does. Okay, so let's just stay on that topic for a minute. Waiting is a decision, even if you don't want to admit that it's a decision. Most people don't consciously choose to stay stuck. But what they will do is say things like, I'll start when things calm down. I need more clarity first. I'll act once I feel confident. How many times have you or someone you know said some version of those statements? The uncomfortable reality is waiting is a decision, and it has consequences. You're deciding not to take action. That decision has consequences. Every day you wait, your confidence will erode a little bit. Your tolerance for discomfort shrinks a little bit. Your standards lower just a little bit. And those things all happen very, very imperceptibly. So it's hard for you to pick those things up, but they happen every day you decide to wait, and every day you decide you're not going to take action. Marcus Aurelius, who was the emperor of Rome, and we've got a view into his mindset from his journals that he left. Marcus Aurelius said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. And that's the truth. Every single one of us is going to die. Life is so hard, nobody makes it out alive. That's something we all have to reckon with. It's just our truth. It is what it is. The good news is radical self-reliance means you can act before you feel ready. And that's a state of mind we want to develop. So how do we develop that? We learn to take ownership, because ownership is the antidote to resentment. Resentment thrives when we outsource responsibility to other people, other things, other circumstances. So think about it this way. You resent your job, but you won't update your skills or update your resume or go look for a new job. You just complain about the job that you have. You don't do anything to make it better. You don't do anything to get better at it, get promoted, find a new job, develop skills that will allow you to enter a new trade, a new career. You resent your health, but you won't change your habits. I wish I wasn't fat while you're eating fast food. I wish I was in shape while you won't go to the gym. I wish I was more active while you're binge watching Netflix. All decisions, all choices to evade and shirk our own personal responsibility. You resent people, but you won't set boundaries. Oh, I've got to go to this stupid party or everyone's going to be mad at me. Okay, don't go. That's a choice. Right? We've all got choices, and these small choices compound over time to deliver big, many times negative results in our life. Now, ownership doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything. Ownership means you're going to say, regardless of how I got here, regardless of what the circumstances are, it is now my responsibility to deal with the situation that I find myself in. Doesn't matter if you chose the things that impacted you or got you where you are. You're going to decide, I own it from here. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Studies in behavioral psychology show that taking responsibility, especially under stress, restores a sense of agency, which directly reduces anxiety and rumination. In other words, ownership calms your mind down. Ownership gives you a sense of purpose and control that you can, in fact, impact in a positive way the situation you find yourself in, and you can make things better by taking actions that are entirely within your control. Okay? And that's a good place to be because it's going to help us build self-confidence. So that's a great way to think about it. Radical self-reliance will build real radical self-confidence. Confidence doesn't come from affirmations. It doesn't come from watching videos. It doesn't come from reading books. It comes from evidence. Evidence that you can handle discomfort. Evidence that you can solve problems. Evidence that you keep promises to yourself. Every time you rely on yourself instead of waiting, your self-trust increases. Your identity shifts. And your standards rise. The exact opposite of the things we talked about at the beginning of the episode, where we talked about the erosion of things when you delay ownership and you delay taking charge. This is why self-reliant people don't need external validation. They already know what they're capable of because they've tested themselves. They've taken action, consistent action, many times small action, but over a long period of time. And that's how self-reliant people are developed. So what does radical self-reliance actually look like in practice? It's not do everything alone. It's not soldier on without friends, without family, without support, without talking to anybody. That's not at all what it is. But what it is taking responsibility for yourself before you ask for help. Taking responsibility and acting without perfect clarity. Taking responsibility and solving small problems daily instead of avoiding big ones. So here's 3 good rules to live by. Assume responsibility first. I'm responsible for this. Ask yourself, what can I control right now? When you find yourself in a difficult situation, facing a difficult obstacle, unsure of what to do, that's the first question we're going to ask ourselves. What can I control right now? Next, we're going to act without permission. I don't need anyone's permission to eat healthy food. I don't need anyone's permission to change my routines and go to the gym every day. I don't need anyone's permission to stop going to parties and bars and social events on the frequency I'm doing it now and using that time to build a side business or develop my relationship with my partner or develop more skills in my career so I can advance professionally. I don't need anyone's permission for that. Stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for validation. Stop waiting for confidence, because the only way to get confidence is to do stuff. One of my favorite sayings is, I am much more a beg for forgiveness than ask for permission guy. I'd much rather kick the door in most instances and find out what's in the room than spend the rest of my life wondering what was behind the door. Every once in a while, you're going to open the door and go into a shitty situation. That comes with the territory. That's the trade-off I'm willing to make so that I don't have regret later on in my life. And next, the third one, we're going to build capability before we worry about comfort. Comfort is a reward. It's not a strategy. The goal is not to be comfortable. The goal is to build our skills and abilities to the point that we become comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Then we're going to continuously grow. Then we're going to continuously pursue the things that are important to us. We're going to continuously improve ourselves. And that has a flywheel effect where it's going to spin faster and faster and get easier and easier. And pretty soon you're going to be kicking ass and taking names. And it's all from taking radical self-responsibility. So what are some action steps that we can do to start to put this into practice? Here is what I want you to do this week. Number one, write down one problem that you've been avoiding. You know what it is. Maybe it's about your health. Maybe it's about money. Maybe it's about your relationships. Maybe it's in your career. Whatever it is, you know what it is because you think about it quite a bit. Number two, we're going to list 3 actions that we can take without help on that problem. We're not going to ask for permission. We're not going to have a perfect plan. We're just going to find 3 things we can start doing right now as it relates to that action. Number 3, we're going to force ourselves to do one uncomfortable thing every day. It's going to be small, but it's going to be deliberate, and we're going to make it uncomfortable on purpose, because small, deliberate discomfort builds psychological armor, psychological vigor, psychological resilience. That's where we need to get to if we're going to take radical responsibility for our lives. And next, we're going to eliminate the phrase, someone should. I hate that phrase. Who is someone? You are someone. That's who should. Replace it with, what can I do? What do I have control over? What actions can I take right now to impact this in a positive way? So that's how we're going to think about it. Those are the 4 steps we're going to take to start practicing radical self-accountability. Write down one problem we've been avoiding. List 3 actions to take without help. We're going to do an uncomfortable thing every day, and we're going to eliminate the phrase someone should or they. I hate the word they. They should. They did this. They did that. Who are these boogeymen that we lump into they? You have accountability for this. You take ownership of it. That's how we're going to build the life that we want. So here's the truth that most people really never learn. The cavalry is not coming. That's the best news you're ever going to get. It's up to you, man. It's up to you. Because when you stop waiting, you stop weakening yourself. When you take ownership, you reclaim your own power. And when you rely on yourself, you build a life that cannot be taken away by anyone. Remember, no one is coming, so you need to become the person who doesn't need saving. All right, guys, James puts it up here every day. Head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our podcast episodes are available there. Links to all our social media accounts are available there. We publish a newsletter every weekday you can subscribe to on our website. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. It's super helpful for us when you're able to do that. We have awesome guests that talk about what they've learned from life and how they've used those learnings to build a life of meaning and purpose and gratitude. We do episodes like this that give you action items that you can use to start right now building the life that you want. It's all good stuff. It's going to help you build the life that you want, become the person that you want. You don't want to miss any of it. So make sure you catch our next episode. We'll see you there.